What is up, everyone? It is your boy, Amish Hammer, back again with something a little special. Don't usually do this. I'm going to do another template video. Haven't done one in a while. Um, so, at the time of making this, the expansion has been out for a couple of months. And recently, right now it's September 2024. Recently there has been a really big update that adds a codex for Alchemy. So I decided to dabble around a little and I made a build and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So this is the Mad Monk build. First, we're going to go over all the codexes. I will tell you right now, this is not this is a build anyone can do, but I would not recommend doing it at a very low level because it's kind of expensive and kind of based around some of the links. So if you don't have like 10 links unlocked, this build might not be for you. So first we'll go over all the codexes. First, obviously, we're going to go over the skills. So first, we will go over what the actual build is first. We'll put it down here so you guys don't see the other echo and get confused. So first we have 120 Shiv. You got the book if you have Shiv. This is pretty simple. This is for traveling, all your buffs. You got multiple heals, it's utility. But for what I use it for, in the hotbar, I have Divine Fury, always active, so that just gives me a decent amount of swing speed. I think it's 18 at 120. I forget off the top of my head. And then I have Dispel Evil. It costs one symbol. Not really gonna hinder your point flow or anything, but it gives you a small chance that you're gonna reflect spells and take 1 damage instead of the full attack. So those two are the ones I always have active. I will sometime put on consecrate weapon just to get the weapon special damage up if I'm not fighting anything insane where I'm going to need emergency heals. This build has way too many heals. I'll get to that in a second, but there are the 2 emergency heals if you need them with Shiv. So Shiv is the first skill. Second, tactics. You need it to hit things and swing fast and do damage. Focus gives you innate accuracy. It gives you innate swing speed bonus, and it also increases your regen speed for your weapon abilities. Next, Alchemy. Alchemy at 80. So this is the brand new codex. You only need 80 for the codex to work. Only Alchemy 80. Most codexes require 2 skills above 80. All you need is 80. If you want to sacrifice the 20 points from Shiv and go to 100 Alchemy to make things even stronger, you can, but it's not required. So for Alchemy at 80, we have Bandolier tier 3, Elixir tier 1, Mixed Results tier 3, Refinement 1, and Volatile 3. So this build, basically we will be chugging pots, or before we go into a dungeon, we'll chug our buff pots. Usually those buff pots with the current setup I have will last 35 to 40 minutes long, which is more than enough for a single dungeon run. Unless you're going like deep down in time and you're going to be down there for hours. That little single burst will give you massive buffs for 40 minutes, which is great. Volatile is the other thing. So volatile, it increases the damage of your explosion pots. So you'll be spamming explosion pots, chucking them at everything that you're fighting. So you'll be beating the shit out of things, fighting them, throwing pots at them and blowing them up. That's pretty self-explanatory. That's pretty much the whole thing. I have a button. Well, this whole template, very lazy. It uses 2 buttons. One is my automatic attack and heal script that I have, and then the other is my thumb button that chugs the pots and throws the explosion pots. And I have that script looping back to my healing script. So once I press the thumb button, it automatically starts the healing script back up if I need it. Next, anatomy. This is so you could cure with band-aids, res people, just, the basics of anatomy. Harry. Next, codex. I personally would stay in bulwark because I just stand there and tank things. You don't have to. Shield bash is another good one if you're going to be running around beating things up and you're one of those people that get the zoomies. Shield bash is great for that. I always have last stand on. Once you go under 50% HP yourself, that gives you a chance to get your finisher off. If you get hit, it's not going to happen all the time, but it turns all your damage into 1 damage for that 1 hit, which is fantastic. Next, we have healing. So healing also got a codex during the expansion, which is fantastic because my script automatically heals me when I am below a certain threshold. It applies Band-Aid, and then all these buffs are intact. You have combat medic tier 2, immunize tier 2, pressure points tier 3. This one just gives you a flat damage increase. Triage tier 1, self-treatment tier 3, specialist tier 1. You have self-treatment tier 3 and specialist tier 1. All these do different things. Most of them are just there to buff your healing and how fast you can heal and apply a band-aid. That's literally, that's all it does. That's it. And then you have wrestling, which is the main purpose of this. Wrestling is the interesting part of this build. So we are the Mad Monk build. We are going to be running Madness Armor. Madness Armor hurts you. It has a chance to do 10 damage to you every second, which is quite ridiculous. But as I said earlier, this build has so many ways to heal you. You have band-aids, you have heal potions, you have 2 shiv heals, and then on top of that, we have the crane stance, which is very underused in wrestling. When this is maxed out and you have it, the adoption stance period cycling, I think it goes to a 21% chance on hit to heal yourself for 10 HP. So now this is where the fun begins. You don't need crane stance lower down in the levels of madness. So if you are like tier 5, you're not going to be triggering the madness health loss thing very much. But at tier like 15, you're going to trigger it quite a bit. So if your band-aids and everything aren't keeping up, you could just easily switch to crane stance and constantly heal yourself and keep yourself alive. If you're not going to use crane stance, by default, you want to use monkey. Or if you're not feeling tanky enough, you can use crab. But this build is unique and has different varieties that you can use. So I'm going to put this to the side, and then we're going to pull up the aspect page. So here are all my aspects that I currently have. My current configuration that I run this build in is I do discipline, weapon, and madness armor. Now, the madness armor is a must for the build. It's just flat damage increase. That's all it does. It's great. It's just a lot of damage. But the weapon you can change. So if you want to switch it up, you could do discipline, or you could do void. They pretty much do the same thing. Discipline is just quite a bit cheaper, and it can stack. That's pretty much, they pretty much do the same exact thing. Now, some of the other weird different ones I use, Earth. Every time you get an Earth proc off, it's a massive hit because Madness also increases the damage of it, I'm pretty sure. But Madness also lowers the armor of the mobs that get hit. So that means you yourself are going to be doing more and more damage. So switch to Earth if you want. If you already have it unlocked, go for it. Eldridge, this is the weird one. Eldridge has a proc called Mana Well, which will create a little bar above your head that gives you 30 free mana that you can spend while it's active. What I do is if I'm running Eldridge on the weapon, I will have Zen Strike active, so I will always regenerate mana when I get a finisher off, but I will switch to Dragon Stance. Dragon Stance, every time you get a weapon special off, it uses 5 mana, but that 5 mana gets converted into a massive damage increase for that specific hit. So you can hit things for like 1.5k if you're lucky every time you get a weapon special off. So while you have the mana well above your head, you're using the mana from the mana well every time you get a weapon special off instead of using your own mana. Though you can use your own mana, it's not recommended at high tier because you're going to get a lot of weapon specials off because of the links that you're using, which I'll get to shortly. So Dragon Stance, fun with Eldridge, but without those two synergizing, I would not recommend using Dragon Stance. Next, Fire. Obviously, big explosion, lots of damage, very good for a weapon. Why not use it? Holy, actually very, very good. If you're running in a group, Holy Shield is great when you proc. It puts a big ass shield on everyone, but also if you're solo farming and you get the shield off, the shield itself blocks the damage that you take from Madness armor, which is also very nice. Lightning. I would say skip it unless you really want to. It's good damage, but that's pretty much it. Madness, if you want to double up and go straight Madness, you can. I would not recommend it because when you do straight Madness, you're also just taking more damage whenever the proc goes off, which naturally happens. And you never know what your health is actually going to be at. So why risk it unless you have like a personal healer? I do like using Madness. It's really, really good damage. But like I said, it's kind of risky. So use it at your own risk if you want to double it up. Void, like I said earlier, pretty much the same as Discipline. It's a single target attack. It does damage increase. It increases your damage resistance, and that's pretty much it. It's very good. Water, I haven't really messed around with water yet with this build, but I know the water proc with the expansion has kind of gotten kind of crazy. It now whenever the water proc is active or goes off, it heals and cleanses all your poisons, diseases, and bleeds, which is pretty good. So I think this might be a sleeper depending on what dungeon you're in. So keep an eye out on water. It might be good. But for now, we're going to stick to Discipline. Next, we're going to go over the links that I use really quick. This is the part I was telling you about that's kind of high tier. So these are the 3 sets of links I would suggest. You do not need the swing speed because it's wrestling. It swings at the speed of a Warfork. The swing speed does help, not needed. So cross that off the list if you can't afford it. The melee special chance and special damage, kind of needed since you do not have arms lore anymore with this build, so you can't disarm, and your chances of getting weapon special chances off are a lot lower. But having these links increase the chance that you're gonna get your weapon special off, which is fantastic. I would either suggest getting weapon special chance links or the big dogs, melee damage and ignore armor chance. So this flat 25% damage increase by default, and then you have a 25% chance just to ignore the armor completely to whatever their new armor lowest setting is set at. They recently changed the armor where you can't go below a certain threshold on mobs. I don't know why, but yeah, but this will ignore all armor all the way down to the new default that every mob has, which is very nice because you just do straight damage pretty much. So if you're a new person or someone with 10 links and you want to try this build, ignore the swing speed, and I would say either go the melee damage and ignore armor chance, or the melee special chance links. So now that we're done here, I think we're gonna do a little bit of a show. Don't know where I want to go. Man, we'll do a little run around Crawlhive. We'll pull out the nice hot bar. I will say, if you are doing wrestling, you want to constantly be using the brawl ability. The brawl ability just is, I think it's damage increase and accuracy increase for 25 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that. We are gonna go and we're gonna do a loop around Crawlhive just to show you guys how much damage it does. Everyone always yells at me in the comments for not showing gameplay video, so we're gonna do a quick loop just to show off the damage. It's pretty nice. We most likely will not need to use crane stance, but we can if we want to. But we will be swinging so fast that it does not really matter. The only thing that we're going to be worrying about down here is, since we're going to only do level 1, we're just going to loop around level 1. The only mob that we have to worry about down here is the Vinekin. The initial blow from the Vinekin might fuck your shit up, might one-shot you, so you just gotta be very careful with it. We will easily be keeping an eye on it. We might change to crab stance. I do not know. We will see. If you guys watch me die, then that's just how it goes, unfortunately. So we will try. We're just gonna do a quick loop. Like I said, this is very simple, easy farming. It's not like we're all the way down in level 3 or all the way down in time, like deep farm and everything. This is just some casual, easy money farming. If you guys do not know, Crawlhive level 1, most mobs are dropping 500 plus gold, which is really, really nice considering how easy they are. Now, I will say one thing that you can do that I've tested multiple times is the route that we're going. I've done multiple tests where I do a loop all the way around counterclockwise, going all the way to the level 2 gate. And within that whole run, if I'm looting every piece of gold, I'm usually getting around 15 to 25k in a single run on level 1, which is really good. It all really just depends on how crowded the dungeon is that day, if there's a society, if people are just down here farming because it's the XP dungeon or something. So you have to really, it varies, but it's very, very well done. It's not the most easy dungeon for new players, but it gets the job done. Okay, we have the green vines here, which means the Vinekin is there. So let's kill this thing really quick, and then we might get a little bit ballsy. Okay, we're gonna put on crab stance just to prepare for this. So we're gonna go down here. Ready? There you go. It wasn't that bad. Okay, we'll heal it all up. 10, 46. We are healing ourselves like crazy. Gonna throw an explosion pot. Boom. It's gonna die. Pretty good damage, guys. We're gonna leave all the gold there for right now. Whoever wants it, if they're running around, scavenge it. Go for it. It seems like this place is quite crowded right now, so we will probably not do the full loop. We'll probably go to this gate over here, and that'll be the end of the video. I tried to try to make this a shorter one, straight to the point, giving you guys some content so you can actually see what the build does, how it works. Pretty simple build. Like I said, at the speed I'm swinging, you don't need the swing speed bonus. Tact. Yeah, tact me. Did you see that? There was an attempt on my life. But now I don't have any of the bonuses, which that will definitely gate out. But the swing speed of the any of the wrestling weapons is the same speed as a warfork, which is already very, very fast. So it's not really needed to have the swing speed links, like I was saying earlier, but they are helpful if you want to have them. The more you're swinging, the more damage you're putting out. So if you can afford it, go for it. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. This has been the Mad Monk. It is not for everyone because it is quite expensive, but if you can afford it and you really go into it, you can do some really good damage. My links, relatively low tier. They're not golds. If I was running full golds, it'd probably be a lot more crazy. So, I will see you guys next time. Have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video.